So yeah.
But let's move on to the Nerd News Network.
Yes.
We got some juicy things here.
We have.
Starting off with Suicide Squad Kills the Justice League, the video game's coming later this year. Is in shambles. I was very excited for this game, but it has absolutely ruined all of my excitement with the leak that it will be a game as a service, meaning you will need an online connection to be able to play the game, and that there will be a battle pass system, etc., etc. Leave
Microtransactions.
story games alone. Hey, I've spent so much money on Valorant, I don't even want to admit how much I've spent. I will spend money on cosmetics in games. What the other thing I'll do though is if you're forcing cosmetics for money into games that make no sense for them, I just won't fucking buy you a game.
Yeah.
So not only are you not going to make the money from your microtransactions, you're not going to sell the game in the first fucking place.
It's just a weird choice for that.
And do you know what the craziest thing is? Insomniac and Sony have proved recently that you don't need to do that for story play games.
No, yeah.
With the Spider-Man games, there are so many costumes you unlock in them games just by playing.
And that's what people like. Like in story games, it's like even in multiplayer games, when you look at it, the skins that people actually love the most and like hold more value to, not the ones that you buy for like 20 quid. It's the ones that were an event that went on. There was like a limited time thing and you could earn it and it's like never going to get them again.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's like people like earning something and it feeling rare, not something you just chuck money at. And especially in story games.
Thing, at first when I was like 16, 17, when Battle Pass's first came thing, I thought it was sick. But in actuality, it's here, spend £8 now and there is no guarantee you get all this stuff.
Yeah. It's here. Battle passes are spend
pay
£8
for more grind.
and we want you. This is us trying to lock you into playing just our game for the next 2 months.
And we've all fallen for it. We've all bought a Battle Pass because we were enjoying the game at the start of a season. And we're like, yeah, I'm going to get this Battle Pass. And then halfway through the season, you're about halfway through the Battle Pass, you're bored to fuck of the game and want to play something else. But if you don't keep playing, you've wasted your £8.
Yeah.
Because all of the good stuff is in like the last 3 tiers. I'm sick of it. Leave story games as story games, scumbags.
It's just, there was already a lot of red flags for Suicide Squad Kills the Justice League, and it's like,
just like Gotham Knights, every time it gets spoken about, it's just bad news.
It's going to be another one of those superhero games that falls flat on its face, and everyone's going to be like, Spider-Man knows how to do it. And
Rocksteady knew how to do it. That's the crazy thing. They made the blueprint that Insomniac used for the Spider-Man games, and then they've just fucking thrown it away.
Yeah. They've just gone, oh yeah, we're going to do something trendier now.
We made the 4 most successful Batman games of all time in over an 8-year period, so much so that people still play these games religiously. And people are fighting that a game made in 2017 isn't as good as the one we made in 2008. But yeah, let's just change everything we've ever done. People are out here trying to reinvent the wheel while they're driving, literally while they're driving. They're like, that thing's rolling a bit too smoothly. Let me fuck with it. Stick in wheel.
Do you know what I think the issue is actually for games like this is quite clearly the Battle Pass system for making money has been implemented probably from a publisher level, not the developer level. And it's like, we want to do this. We're doing this monetization model for the game. You figure out how to fit it in.
Awesome. So we're blaming Warner Brothers once again. Sweet. That's good to know.
Well, yeah.
Warner Brothers, cut your crap. Because
this is the thing. It's like game devs often don't have a say quite as much. It's like these publishers are going, we see Fortnite making fucking bank off a Battle Pass, and it's the new trendy monetization system, and all these studios are making tons of money. Right, we're putting that in our next game, whether it works or whether it should not be, and that's once again, it's this publishers that have way too much power over these devs. It comes from like Ubisoft, EA, and now Warner Brothers, to no
Do you know what
surprise.
makes me even more annoyed about it as well? They're doing it in games that are already 60 quid.
Yeah, it's one thing doing it in a free to play game.
And his thing, like, don't get me wrong, I always fall into the trap. If it's a free to play game, I'll be like, okay, well, yeah, I'll buy this battle pass because that's £8, and I'd normally spend 60 quid in a game.
Yeah,
So I'm gonna have all these cool
I've
skins
I've spent more money on Valorant because it's free to play than
than
if it
if
had
you'd had
just
to pay
been.
60 quid for it. Yeah,
Yeah, but that's just the.
100%.
I base a lot of mine off hours played, so it's like if it's a free to play game and I've put 20 hours in, it's like I'll buy 20 quid skin.
Yeah. Um, but
Yeah.
the cheek to sell us a game for 60 quid and then make the game worse because you have to be online. So if you're in, like, I remember when internet wasn't as stable as it used to be, that you'd be playing
Well,
FIFA, your internet had dropped, so you couldn't play Ultimate Team anymore. So you just load up a game that was offline. You can't even
do
do
you,
that
do you
anymore.
not remember when the Xbox One got announced and it was going to have to be online all the
Yeah.
time, and they got
If you didn't log it
so
in
much
every
back.
24 hours, it'd
They,
lock you out.
the backlash that it got made them change that because they realized, oh, that's a dumb thing to do. Um, Seems that devs are going, oh, everyone's forgotten about that. Let's just try, let's just
Yeah.
slide this back in now. But yeah, I don't think that game's going to do well, and I think unfortunately it's going to flop, and that it's gonna ruin us out of a potential of another good Batman game. And
But what we need is everyone to start refusing to play these games so that devs realize we're not falling for this crap anymore.
it's so hard to do that.
It is. But I'm not going to feel sorry for people if they spend 60 quid on the game and then it ends up being shit after all the warning signs were there.
Yeah,
Um, but time for
some
some good news.
yeah, some good DC and Warner Brothers news.
Everyone, give Horry a round of applause.
I was correct.
He did predict this.
I did.
Last Friday, more news about Matt Reeves and James Gunn's potential discussions were coming up. And apparently, the conversation was centered around Matt Reeves being able to run his own kind of Batverse. Batverse was a direct quote, but Batverse is also what Horry had suggested on the Thursday evening while we recorded.
Yeah.
Maybe Matt Reeves is just allowed to run his own little Batverse. Well done, Horry. I know you have the approach of throw shit at the wall, eventually something will stick.
Well, this one
But
stuck instantly.
yeah, no, well done.
No,
There's nothing more to say.
you
Hats
said it,
off.
and I was like, surely not. Surely I've not just predicted that so perfectly timed.
Like
Um,
literally like 12 hours
yeah,
later.
but yeah, I
Um,
think the exact thing was they talked, and James Gunn's more than happy for Matt Reeves to keep doing his thing, and it's not gonna like he's not gonna pull the plug on it. He's happy to have this Batverse be there and be separate. And they were going to be
especially if
having
they
more
want to run.
talks.
So I think the best way I can describe it,
Go on.
I think the DCU is going to run, and what we're going to get there is like the Batman comic run, which is just Batman in a bit more of a comic-y way, focused on the action and the drama and interaction with other people.
Yeah.
Whereas Matt Reeves is going to be more detective comics, which
Mm.
is actually the original Batman run, because Batman became like a subshoot of Detective Comics, because Detective Comics isn't just Batman, but Detective Comics, which is more about the detective work,
Yeah. I on.
and a bit more noir and stuff.
Yeah. I think bouncing off that is like I agree. I think Matt Reeves is going to be Detective Batman, your typical Batman villains, very Gotham focused, very what the fuck like is going on
Yeah.
in his world. I think what we might get, because we still don't know 100% if we're getting a Batman in DCU, if and when we get what like era. I do think it's going to be more like Batman with Justice League and how all those things that go on with the Justice League and that affect that. More what Batman's doing outside of Gotham and in that world, like you say, a bit more comic booky, bigger big bads working as a team, sort of Batman. Um,
And I think if they do go that way, that's actually perfect. It will give you Batman stories for everyone for a long time.
Yeah, and
And if they
it'll be
do it
also
right,
be
that'll
quite
also earn them a lot of money.
yeah, and also they don't have that worry it's like too similar that people get confused why there's this Batman and this Batman.
Yeah,
But I know Matt Reeves said they're having more talks where they're gonna like James Gunn wants to know what Matt Reeves' plans are, and he's gonna outline to Matt Reeves like what their plans are, and kind of probably get on the same page. I imagine he'll even like lean on Matt Reeves for help with whatever Batman he does. Like we said last week, Matt
yeah.
Reeves quite clearly loves the Batman series, and that's got him to where he in this position. It wouldn't surprise me if James Gunn's like, "What's your opinion on us doing this Batman or this story?" Like, and help us with this. So, yeah, Batverse. Hopefully,
Hmm.
we're getting Penguin series. We're getting Batman 2. I'm excited to see what we get after that.
Yeah, 100%. Um, now, now I'm not gonna because I just can already see the comments down below like, "Oh, this isn't new news." So Marvel have been accused of underpaying VFX teams by as much as 20% under market standard, as well as expecting 4 times the output for that amount of money. Now, I know there have been lots of complaints in the past that Marvel were overworking and underpaying, appreciating their VFX team, but no one has ever put numbers on it.
Yeah, no one's like really like you hear the
Yes.
rumors and you hear it from different places, but
And like even since this happened late last week, it seems to have already died down really quietly. Um,
artists not appreciated.
yeah, it absolutely sucks. The amount of money Disney make from these films, pay
Well,
your fucking VFX staff.
here's what I think has, and this isn't like giving Marvel and Disney like an excuse, but I think this is how it's like got to this situation in a way of quite or how studios have ended up in this situation through not necessarily in fault of their own, but knowing from someone who's worked in a creative field, it's like you start off on an expectation. So back with like phase one, there wasn't many films. These studios that got up a good reputation with Disney and had a good like mutual kind of business agreement were like good pay for time needed, probably matched. But as Disney's like, oh, we've got this film now, we've got this film, we want you to work on it, and they're like, oh well, yeah, we want to work on the Marvel films, like that's big promo for us. And it's like one of those where Disney's kept ramping up the work, but never approached saying we'll give you more money. And the studios have like because it's like a Marvel film, and it's like, sure, we want our studio's name attached to that. Take on this work, and then it's like over time it's built up, and then now in this, it's now in this situation of the studios are going, hang on a second, we are doing like twice as like 4 times as much work as we used to do when we first started working for Disney. But hang on, we're not actually getting paid more for this now. Like, how has this happened? Uh, this isn't okay. And then
Yeah,
also Marvel's like, oh, we want these now. They keep ramping up the time between films is getting shorter, and they're like wanting stuff turned around faster. Like, it's one of those where it's just I think these studios a little bit have got caught out, but also like are now going, hang on a second, Disney, like what the fuck? Rightly so. It's it's one of those though. It's like Disney's not never going to address it because then that makes it an actual thing. Like that's them admitting that there's something going on there. Um, and unfortunately, studios are gonna like they'll demand better pay. But the issue you're gonna have with any creative industry is like if you're a studio and you turn around and go, "We want more money." If you want us to do that, Disney will go, "I there's this
find someone
studio,
cheaper.
this studio who will take it for this price because they're smaller and they want the opportunity."
Yeah, and that is the. Don't get me wrong. We're not saying that Disney are fine here because they're just playing the market. Me and Hori hate capitalism, and this is a symptom
Mm.
of capitalism. There is
It's
always going to be someone who's willing to do the work a little bit cheaper just to get the work.
and to get
and then
especially off
that hurts
Disney.
everyone.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's that issue
Um,
of, unfortunately, artists will undercut their fellow artists because they want their break and their
yeah.
opportunity.
Because the big companies have conditioned them to thinking, well, you got to be ready for your opportunity when it comes, no matter
Mhm.
what.
Yeah.
Um,
So
but hopefully something gets done about it.
hopefully something gets done. Hopefully Disney go, oh shit, yeah, we should like respect our VFX studios more and pay them
Hmm.
better. Um,
More sad news.
yes, more sad news in the world of
Yeah.
DC.
Yeah. And no one's to blame for this. It makes complete sense. But Mark Hamill has suggested that he's basically very unlikely / never going to voice Joker again.
Hmm.
Since the passing of Kevin Conroy, he's basically said the notion of going to play the Joker just doesn't feel right because it's not his Batman anymore, which makes complete sense because
Yeah,
Joker and Batman are, as weird as it sounds, a dynamic duo. They go together perfectly, and Kevin Conroy and Mark Hamill
done it for
played off each
years.
other perfectly.
Yeah, and it's also like
Um,
they've done it through a
since the
whole gen.
'90s.
Well, yeah, they have done a whole generation of doing that together in a way as well. I think Mark will probably feel like, one, it would feel weird to do it with a different Batman that's not his Batman and who he's done it with for all these years. But I think also he'll see it as, this isn't new Batman, a new person's going to take on the mantle of Batman. It's kind of fair to a new Joker comes along and they have their moment.
Yes.
Um, it's better to end on a high than to drag it out and it's like, oh, Mark Hamill's Joker doesn't really fit with this new Batman because they don't bounce off each other very well or something.
Yeah.
Like, it's better to always end on a high.
Exactly.
As sad as it
It's just
is.
really sad. Because I mean, Mark Hamill's always been my Joker, just like
Mhm.
Kevin Conroy was always my Batman. And it's weird to think that watching a animated show in 2, 3, 4, whenever we get the next kind of animated thing, that Joker and Batman are going to be completely different voices.
Yeah.
Um,
But
and it's going to be a big adjustment for me because it'll be the first time like animated characters that I watch a lot of
sound different.
will have had a huge change to their voice.
Yeah.
So it'll be a bit of a weird one for me to get used to, and I'm not going to be surprised if my knee-jerk reaction is no, I don't like that. But I'll do my best to give the actors a fair shot.
Hopefully they pick up people that have maybe voiced them in other games.
Yeah. What I don't want is them to get people who try and do impressions of Mark Hamill's Joker and Kevin Conroy's Batman.
Yeah, you
I
want someone
want
who does
whoever
their
does it
own.
to come in and give your own interpretation of the character.
Yeah.
Now, Hori, do you have good news for us regarding this D&D update?
In good old classic Top Gear fashion, great news. So last week I touched on the whole D&D drama that was going on because you'd
Yeah.
seen it but didn't know. And as I mentioned then, basically the community was up in arms because there was this leaked, what was apparently close to final draft of the new open gaming license, which is D&D's like licensing on how their game's used. The community as a whole uproar. I mean, I'm sorry, Wizards of the Coast, but you've built a community of rule lawyers. You ain't gonna outsmart them. Like, these people in D&D can't be outsmarted. They will follow rules to the law, and you try to sneak shit past them, they're gonna spot it. So Wizards of the Coast finally gave a statement, came back
Okay.
out, and they were like, "We hear you. We quite clearly rolled a nat one, critically
Did they actually
failing."
say
Yeah,
that?
they said we rolled a nat one.
What? I'm sorry. Just a message to all companies: if you fuck up royally and you need to address that, do not try and be funny in your statement.
I, it's just them trying to be like, because they are. I guess they do. They're trying to play into being like, we're the community. We like we're all in this together.
Yeah, but
But
when everyone's already that mad at you, if
yeah,
it's like divisive, yes, try and be a bit funny. But if it is straight up everyone just going, "That is a bad fucking idea," You just got to
it's
go. We fucked up.
I think that was the closest we get to a corporation fully admitting, okay, we fucked up here. Um,
You
Basically,
done fucked up, Aaron.
they're putting a pause on this new open gaming license.
Oh
Uh,
wow! So they're not even just gonna like roll it out with some changes. They're fully pausing it.
well, they're pausing it while they're not. There's no like timeline now because they're going to go back and change things, and it's a legal document. It takes time to get it like.
Makes
Uh,
sense.
Basically, they've gone. Um, we realize we used poor language in a legal document. It was never meant to limit fans, podcast content creators, players, whatever. This was aimed at other tabletop RPGs. Or our aim was to aim this at other tabletop RPGs and stop, like, essentially stop someone coming along going, "Oh, I'm going to
Stop
take the D,
clones.
yeah, take the D&D rules and make my own game. Oh, this is just, I don't know, worms and basements." um,
Oh, yeah. So they just didn't want a bunch of clones
yeah,
robbing them. Essentially,
but their
is
choice
their
of
claim.
but their choice of language, obviously, it came across poorly. They're going to remove any language about taking royalties or anything on that. They're completely scrapping that. That's not, they realized that was an overstep and not what they should have been trying to cover in this.
Okay.
Because that was quite clearly them being like, the shows like Critical Role and that are making millions of dollars off of what is D&D. I can understand them wanting some royalty license thing with that because
Yeah,
there's
but I mean,
bit.
do they not get like? What about trickle down economics?
Oh no, I agree. They shouldn't need it, or they don't need it. But I can understand big things like that. Them feeling they want some licensing and royalties or
I
whatever.
would suggest to Wizards of the Coast, if they want to make some money from Critical Role, offer Critical Role an official partnership so they can use the Dungeons and Dragons
Well,
stamp
yeah,
to make it an official
that's what
book.
I think they've realized. Hang on a second, we shouldn't be putting this in the open game license. These should be things we go to
Deals
these
that we
big,
make,
yeah.
yes.
So they're
Imagine if
completely.
Critical Role gets to go, and from now on, all of our current books and any future books
You can
are
have the
now,
logo on it, and it's all
yeah,
official. Yeah. So
exactly.
they're scrapping all that. No more royalties worded. Everything, like all your homebrew stuff, they want to make sure like it's clear that they weren't trying to control any of that. Like they realize homebrew and all people's own home creations and home games and all this is like what makes D&D D&D. So realistically, good news because they've listened. They've gone, oh shit, we fucked up here. Okay, we're gonna word this better and how you guys actually like it is meant to be an open license and we're not trying like we overstepped a bit and used poor language, so we're going to correct those mistakes.
So
So I think
it was a big old back pedal.
yes, so a win for the D&D community, I would say, and hopefully this is when we get to see whatever the next version of this is, it is what they say it's going to be, and they don't try and sneak some other shit in there.
I think it would be very dumb of them to try and sneak anything into this next one.
Agreed.
Because at that point you're on the verge of people just going, "Fuck you! I'm now playing Dragons and Dungeons."
Well, do you know what's funny? I think as some people probably felt it was a bit of an overreaction to the community all pulling their subscriptions off D&D Beyond. But realistically, the best way to scream at a company
Vote with
is,
your money.
yeah, to pull your money out to the point where they had to remove the cancel subscription page off their website.
That feels illegal.
Well, the website was causing issues because so many people were doing it. So they had to close that page because it was causing issues to the site. So then people went to the app and were doing it. So then they took it off the app as well. And the only way
Yeah,
you
that
could,
just sounds illegal.
well, it's not illegal. It's consumerism, and it's making it so basically you then had to submit a ticket.
Oh, okay. So it wasn't impossible to cancel your
No, it's
subscription.
just a pain in the ass. And obviously they were hoping if we make this really difficult, people just won't give up trying to do it.
But this is, I mean, this is what we were saying about Arkham Knights. Sorry,
Yeah,
not Arkham Knights. Suicide Squad.
yes.
Kills the Justice League. Vote with your wallet.
Yeah.
If you agree that something going to a battle pass system or making it so they can take money for like off creators and whatever, and you disagree with that, it won't take long. We've said this for how long about the Call of Duty community. If you're that angry about the game,
Yeah.
don't fucking buy it. They will listen.
Yeah.
But people still buy it. That's why Call of Duty isn't getting better.
Yeah. And also something we haven't got on here, also D&D related.
Oh,
I don't remember if you watched the first Vox Machina series.
I did.
Season 2 starts tomorrow.
Oh shit! Really? Okay.
Yes.
Well,
I'd
we may
forgot
we may we may discuss that next
touch
week
on
then,
it. Yeah.
because I really enjoyed season 1 of that. That was really cool.
So season 2 starts tomorrow, the 20th. As you're all listening this episode. So go check that out. It's on Amazon Prime. It's gonna be great. I love Critical Role and everything they do.
2 episodes a week again.
I'm not entirely sure, possibly.
Okay. But
But
I really enjoyed season
for
1 of that. As
someone
someone who's never played D&D, I thought it was really
for
entertaining.
someone who knows what went on in campaign 1, shit about to get juicy in terms of what's going
So
on
is this still
story-wise.
campaign 1 then?
Oh yeah, this is all campaign 1. So
Okay, cool.
this shit's about to get juicy.
Nice.
There's going to be some great moments, and they did a great job with season 1, so it's going to be amazing. And I can't knowing there's going to be a season 3 as well. Bliss.
Let's
Yeah.
go. Sick.